Yo, YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy, Salvation's Elite, and we are back with another video, guys. And so today, we're talking about the predictions for this Call of Duty League season. Now, when it specifically comes to the teams, I wanted to talk about it from a big perspective as a whole, and how, this might go down as a league, and how the scheduling is going to work out, how successful the league might be, the viewership, the meta, like how the scheduling will work when it comes to trades and free agency, just as a whole overall, because I think there's a lot of questions, a lot of legitimate things, and now that we're just so close to it, I think it'll be fun to have all this perspective and opinion in this one video. So basically, so in the future, we can go check to see if we're actually right about this. With that said, let's get into the video. Let's go. So let's just start off with the schedule, because it's the most obvious and simple thing to talk about off the rip. We have the weekly games, the weekly events, the weekly home stands from each team, where 6 to 9 teams will all go to one city and play like 1 or 2 matches over the weekend. Personally, again, if you guys watched my video when it first was released, I wasn't very happy with it, not very excited about it, and I'm definitely a little worried about how this will affect the league as a whole. Like, it's definitely fantastic for players, but I don't think it's that great for viewership, and how it's laying out, like, for fans, I just don't love it. So the first problem with it is that if you're trying to buy a ticket to go to one of these home stands, like let's say you're a Huntsman fan and the Huntsmen are headed to Dallas, they're only going to play one game in Dallas. Like, you're paying a lot of money right now. The prices is a big problem itself. The prices for these home events right now is hovering around like between $60 and $100 to go for 2 days. I don't know about you, but that's pretty expensive, especially if you're going to really see your team, which they might only play for like 30 minutes to an hour. It just doesn't really make that much sense logically. And I know the fan base is what makes esports so interesting and so fun. I know for me, when I'm watching an event, the fan reactions, the hype, the crowd noise as a whole makes watching the stream so much better. That's why for me, like in the past few years, the CWL has been a little bit dry when it comes to the broadcast, just because there's no fans inside the arena or inside the the Columbus studio. That's something I was really excited about this year, is that we were going to have a live audience for all these games. The problem is the lack of tournaments. It's just a real issue because you just don't have those big moments in the year. I was really hoping for more of like a tournament style, like based format where you just play like a lot of tournaments throughout the year instead of just the weird mix of tournament and season that we had before. I feel like there was a way to do this league where if you had like 8 tournaments or 10 tournaments in those months and it all linked together and like the tournaments played as your season, I think it'd be pretty cool, and I think it would work out pretty well in my mind, or in my opinion. So one like thought or prediction that I definitely hope to have is that this will change. This format will change heading into next year, or at least 2 years down the road. Hopefully we have a little bit more of a spectator experience when it comes to the events themselves and how they're ran and how the schedules ran. But just right now, I'm pretty worried about how the fans are going to be excited about it, or like how you're going to attract the casual viewer to a game or to like a season that doesn't feel like it has that much weight or that much importance in the long term. And with the season running from January until August, it's a long season. And since you're just gonna be running like casual league matches for basically the whole year, that leads all up to just one event in August, it's hard to imagine to the average esports fan that they're gonna pay that much attention to your average league match in March or April, when it really doesn't matter up until August. I'm a little bit worried about the schedule. Of course, I'm still going to enjoy it because I'm not the casual fan that they're trying to attract. I'm obviously a fan that's dedicated, that's going to watch through the thick and thin, through whatever the scheduling is. But there's a lot of people out there that aren't that excited about this schedule, and it's not going to really entice them to want to keep watching week in and week out for every single one of these home stands for all of these teams. Maybe in the first year, because it's new, it might work pretty well, but I'm not convinced that in the long term this is a format that would at all succeed, and hopefully they decide to tweak it in one way or another moving forward. So I wanted to talk about the meta real quick for Modern Warfare, kind of like, it all kind of mushes together. My prediction for the meta, at this point, it feels like a 2-sub, 3 AR meta. For some of the maps, that might be a little bit different. For the most part, that might be the case. We've got the M4 right now. We've got the MP5 right now. Basically, like the only 2 guns that pros are using. To me, it doesn't really feel like the guns are going to change that much. Maybe the attachments do, if there's tweaks or something like that to how the attachments are played or how that works in the next few weeks or months moving forward. But that's kind of the meta right now. I think it's going to stay the same. I'd be interested to see how a new meta would affect the game. So again, we're going to talk about viewership and like just those predictions in a second here, but league play, I want to talk about that in this predictions video too. I predict they make league play in like just after the launch of the Call of Duty League. I bet they add in league play by mid-February. That's my bet, because I know Battle Royale supposedly is coming out in December/January. So we'll see if that actually happens. But my thought is to get that out, and then they'll hurry to get out league play pretty quick. My official prediction is a February league play launch. Let's see if that actually happens. So when it comes to like the league and how it might actually work with rosters, I'll be really interested to see. This is something I'm really excited about, to see how the trades and the roster management works throughout the season, and like if teams are pretty willing to cut players, trade players, sign players, try out new rosters, if teams want to do that, or how that's going to work, or how that's going to play out with the substitutes and everything else. Since most teams don't have that many subs, they have 1 or 2 at most for the most part. They don't have that many options when it comes to changing their teams. How will that play out? You know, those are all questions. I'm thinking it's going to be a little bit, you know, underwhelming in this first year. I don't know if there's going to be that many changes. Maybe moving in towards champs, it might be a little bit crazier when it comes to like trades. If it's going to get crazy, it's going to be crazy like in like the June-ish era. I feel like if it's going to get crazy, it would only get crazy in the second half near the end of the year. Like May, June would probably be the only time where I would really expect rosters to change a lot. So at this point, we still don't know like how their broadcasting is going to work, how that's going to go down, like how similar is it going to look to MLG's layout. How are they going to organize this? Who are going to be the personalities? Who are going to be the CODcasters? We really don't know that much at this point. And so hopefully it's pretty good and pretty close to what MLG's been doing, because MLG's been doing a really good job about that overall, and I've really enjoyed MLG's broadcasts and how they present Call of Duty as a whole. I'm a little bit nervous that there might be some problems early on. I'm going to expect some big time problems early on, just with the shifts and how this works and how many people they brought in from MLG and how many new people there are. I feel like there's going to be at least a few problems at the beginning, but maybe not. I mean, they have had the Overwatch League as practice, so Activision at least is used to doing that. Maybe it'll go a lot smoother than I think, and they'll just be just fine, which is definitely possible. But to be honest, I'm setting my expectations pretty low. Hopefully it's a pleasant surprise with how good the broadcast quality is from Activision. So, viewership, the popularity of the league, the long-term success, how this year is going to shape up and move forward for Call of Duty. I like the idea of franchising for sure. I don't love how the league is currently formatted. I don't love that it's localization. I don't love the league format. There's a lot of things I don't love about the league, but there's a lot of things that I really do like about the league. Right now, it feels like it caters towards the players a little bit too much, and hopefully they'll continually make steps to cater towards the fans and towards the viewers, because at the end of the day, that's what matters the most. That's what makes the money. And so hopefully that's that they start catering towards the fans and the players and make it more fun to watch and more interesting, and overall the format more intriguing. And if they do, then I think I'll be really excited about the league. I think there'll be a lot to look forward to, and the league will grow a lot. So in its first year, though, I'm not expecting crazy numbers. I'm not expecting any type of crazy viewership. Probably pretty similar to last year, maybe slightly more popular. Last year, an average league match would get between like 30 and 50,000 views. So maybe we see the average league match go from like to 40 to 60,000 views, and then like the big tournaments up around like 130, 140 maybe. But I don't expect anything like, I don't expect any type of like massive like doubling the growth or anything like that in this first year, even though I think some people expect maybe a little bit more than that. But I'm not expecting too much. I'm keeping my expectations pretty low overall for the Call of Duty League, even though I think it'll be really interesting when it comes to the players, how the game will actually play out. And hardpoint in this game will be really interesting. We'll have to see whether or not CTF gets added in or another game mode gets added in, because at this point, I'm not convinced that domination is going to be the competitive game mode year long, even though search and destroy is going to be really fun. Hopefully they add in like crash or vacant into the map rotation for search and destroy at least, and we can have some fun on that. I would be pumped to watch some competitive crash again in the CWL. So man, there's a lot that we could talk about. I'm definitely gonna talk more about this leading into the league when it comes to like rosters, more predictions, league predictions. And this week, our Call of Duty League podcast, the best of 3 podcast, is launching.
Enemy nuke incoming! We're done!
It'll be launching in the middle of this week. Hopefully up on iTunes right off the start, but it'll for sure be on Spotify, for sure be on YouTube, and then on Apple Podcast, hopefully at launch, potentially by the end of the week for sure. So be on the lookout for that. The uploads will be coming. I'm excited about it. community tournaments in the works right now to figure out a date for that. It's a little messy with weekends in December though, which really sucks. So I'm a little bit behind on these community tournaments. Another shameless plug, I've been streaming a lot on Twitch, Salvation's Lead on Twitch. I would be hyped if you guys all came out and tuned in for it. We've been having a lot of fun playing a lot of GBs. We've been playing pretty good this year too, just to say the least. And I'd be hyped to see you guys there. So that's Salvation's Lead on Twitch. But as always, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, like, comment, favorite, subscribe. And as always, I'm your boy Salvation's Lead, and we will see you next time. I'm out.